Man, y'all know what it is, the real two-tech.
And your man, Marathon Manny.
All praise to God.
For everything, and I mean everything.
And this is another episode of The Real. And tonight, y'all, man, we got a special guest in the house with us tonight. Juice Man saying nah. Juice man.
Yes, sir. From the Squeeze Podcast.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Before
y'all
we
doing
always start every interview, we got to do that mental health check-in. How you feeling mentally, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I am great. I'm an absolute 10 out of 10 tonight.
Oh, for sure.
Energy is up. We've been working. You know, I know it's been a little bit of a tester.
Trial and error.
I'm telling you, man.
But we made it. We made it happen, guys.
How about yourself, Mr. Marathon? How you doing, man? You good?
Man, I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed, grinding like shit, focused, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm locked in right now.
Big facts.
How you feeling, bro?
And as for me, I put my 2 feet on the ground every day. It's a W-I-N. I can't complain even if I tried to. I'm blessed, baby.
Yes,
I ain't lying. So let's get into it. This is a question we ask every guest.
Okay.
Who are you and what do you stand for?
Oh man, that's a deep question, and it's hard to say that I stand for one certain thing. But man, everybody that's watching, I am Juice, your resident mental health advisor, your man to help you plan your life out and advise you in the best version of yourself to get there and be the best that you can be, get the results, man. That's who I am. And I talk about a little bit about how the intersections of date and everything goes on in the podcast, The Squeeze, which you probably can find on YouTube whenever you get a chance.
Big facts.
Make sure you go subscribe, check his channel, you hear me?
Right now. We're going to put all that in the
sir.
description when we finish, man, so y'all can check him out and make sure subscribers go up because he talking some good stuff over there. You know, the man with the plan. So, Juice, talk about your background, man. What did you grow up at, man?
So me, man, I'm a Montgomery County kid, born at Holy Cross. But the crazy thing about me though is that my man, we Holy Cross kids, man. It's crazy out there.
Got some Moco babies.
But listen, that's one of the blessed hospital, man. It's moving up. It's doing a lot of big things. But now let me say this little thing, man. With me, so I was born here in the DMV area, but man, I lived all up and down the East Coast. So, you know, I got people up in Brooklyn and stuff like that. So I spent some time up there. My father, my late father, you know, God rest his soul.
R.I.P.
He was out in Newark, New Jersey. He was a judge out there, a head judge, chief judge, municipal court, Shaka Taylor. So if y'all just want to check him out, he's up there. And my mom's people, she's from West Palm Beach, Florida. So shout out the family out West Palm, the Rosses and the Chases, man.
Yeah, sure.
So that's it. That's me, man. That's where I came from. That was where my roots is. And actually, hold up. I also lived in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for about 4 years. Very crazy out there too. It's a wild world. Cow tipping and all that.
Yeah,
Cow tipping.
crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Marty.
Oh man, I just want you to talk about your podcast, man. What made you start the podcast, and you know what was your journey like? Because you know sometimes people don't really like to start, or they be having this fear of starting things and failing. So, what was that journey like starting your podcast, and how you feel about it?
Okay, man, this is one that's going to be a long story. So, the podcast came in a multitude of different ways. I was at a junction point in my life where like a lot of things were happening where it was like I seen a lot of change I needed to take in myself, and I just seen that, you know, if you're not giving that change to other people, you kind of like gatekeeping the growth that the community needs, you know what I mean? So for me at the time, right, I was just getting my master's in behavioral psychology, and I was just going through just getting over the grieving point from my father and my grandmother passing over in 2020. And then I was seeing a lot of the stuff on the internet with Kevin Samuels, man. So you were seeing that man, you know, going at people and stuff like that. So it was like that. I saw that there was a very big pocket for, you know, unheard men on the internet, you know, with gripes and issues, both with women in their relationships and the fact that there was, you know, hurt being had that was unheard. So me being a mental health man, you know, needed to address that kind of thing because it's a lot of brothers that I have to deal with on a regular basis that feel like they're unheard and they feel they can't be the men they want to be in this world because the society doesn't support that anymore. So, to break them out of that, you got to change the narrative, So that's what I do with the podcast. Every time I come out with an episode is to uplift you, show you avenues that you can expand your business, and get to the best version of yourself. And when I say that, is either working yourself out, finding that whatever motivation or drive that pushes you to be better every single day, because it's not about one day, it's every single day what you can be consistent about and what you're going to take home with you. And just be, when you go to sleep, it's like, this is on my mind. I wake up, it's on my mind, I got to make it happen, and it's nothing else, you know what I mean? And then of course with relationships, everybody wants to be in one. There's nobody in this world that want to be alone.
Facts.
So we got to do it right, but at the same time, we got to understand that the world that we're living in is not what we expected it to be, And you got to live outside of those expectations and live in this reality that we're in 2023.
Okay.
Man,
So
he's
yeah,
saying
I'm
some
telling
solid
you,
shit
I'm
right
telling you,
now.
man, he went straight in, man. He went straight in. You could tell he do this on a professional level. So, Juice, let me ask you this, man. Like, you just made a pivotal point. Like, everybody wants to be in a relationship, even the people that say they don't want to be in a relationship. How do you have a successful relationship, in your opinion? What are the tools that you should have as a man or even a woman? I say, let's speak from a man's standpoint, as a man to be in a successful relationship.
So it is a multifaceted question that you're asking there. And when I say that, it's no right answer, because, everybody's a little different. But you do need to be strong, assertive. You need to be able to make strong decisions. You need to be able to support whomever you are as a man in your relationship. And I say that across the board, because I know that probably it's going to be some people like, well, what if they're gay? If they're gay, I'm pretty sure it's a gay man that don't want to be with no funny gay man. You know what I'm saying? I've never lived in that world, but I just know from talking to people within that space. You know what I mean? And they want somebody assertive, strong. They got their head on right. You know what I'm saying? That they come with a good heart. And, everybody talks about this communication thing, but you have to understand who you are dealing with to communicate properly. Everybody wants you to communicate in the way that they see on TV and shit. Deal with the person that's in front of you, not who you imagine them to be. Don't take nobody for exactly that. They say don't take them for face value, but take them for who they are. You deal with a person one-on-one. And another thing, I'm gonna jump this in here because I had to talk to somebody recently about it. You don't want to deal with, when you're dealing with somebody, especially when it's fresh, don't involve other people in it. Because other people's notions, their mindsets and all that do not let you have that genuine relationship with whomever you're dealing with.
Facts.
On top of that, their mindset on them will never be how you feel about them, because guess what? Their feelings are secondary. They only get to see it as a show to what you're living. You know what I'm saying?
What you telling them.
Exactly that. So when you're living that experience, live that experience with them, not with everybody else. And I understand that you might want advice and stuff, but take everything with a grain of salt. Even if you listen to this episode, take it with a grain of salt.
Straight like that. Straight like the real.
Nah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, y'all squeezing up out of me.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. We ain't playing no games.
That's some good stuff, man. As far as relationships go, like you said, that's very relatable. Like, don't involve people into your relationship too quick. You know what I'm saying? Where you start getting different perspectives from other people, and they start influencing your decision making within that relationship instead of like you doing it for yourself.
It's another thing that you should think about too, because it's a lot of pain and trauma that other people accumulate. For example, and I'm not trying to put anything like too harsh on anybody, but let's just say your homeboy, right? He a playboy, you know what I'm saying? Now, he don't been through every zodiac sign under the sun. So he like, yeah, you can't deal with, cancer, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Can't deal with the cancer joint because they going to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But, well, damn, bro, I just got to deal with her. You only dated probably like 2-3 people because you don't move like that. So now he putting in the notion that, okay, she going to do this, and this. But you didn't even give her the chance to even, make that thing happen.
Exactly what you mean, brother.
And everybody have different experiences with different women. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You might caught her at a time when she wanted to be out there. Then when I catch her, she a whole different person. Like, man, what type of person
Entirely different.
What she might do for you, she might not do for me.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
But what's funny? Like that even that, like the horoscope stuff, the signs, right? Where like they base people off of they birth sign, right? Oh, I'm a Scorpio, man. It's so like I'm a Scorpio, so it's like it's so much how you say like prejudice or
animosity,
preconceived notion that come with it. Like, oh, you a Scorpio?
They got
like,
stereotypes.
Yeah,
you
I be
stereotype.
like, God damn, like can I live?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it plays a big role. Where it's like sometimes maybe you shouldn't even pay too much attention to that. Like, pay attention to the person that's in front of you. Like you said, take them for face value, or take them for who they are. Man, that's very great advice. I agree with that, 100%.
Big facts. I want to go back to that communication piece because, you'll meet with somebody, I know how to communicate, I know how to do this. Soon the first problem or first sign of trouble come, people run. It's like you'll be the one trying to communicate, then the other person, like, they don't want to talk, they shut down. Like, I thought we was adults. I thought whatever we go through, we going to communicate. Why is it that, man? Like, you could meet somebody in the beginning, everything going good, and when problems come, everybody run. They don't want to work it out.
Well, if we're talking men and women, I have clearly seen with our gentlemen today that we aren't equipped, to be honest with you, to communicate with the women of today. Mm-hmm. And we lost that in the stable homes. And I'll say it straight, like, especially the black community, even the brown community, because it is incentivized, and I know you probably hear this all over the internet. And what I mean by that is you are in a place where if you get a man and you get pregnant or all of this other kind of stuff, you can go out and then get child support or the government going to support you, but you don't need a man. There's no sense of needing a man in the home anymore. So then that breaks up the communication from man to woman, at least from you raising your child. Now that your child is an adult, when they have to be equipped to communicate with their loved ones or individuals that they're trying to court or however you want to say it, date, all that other kind of stuff, we're not really equipped because we didn't get to see it at childhood. When we get up there in the age and you have to learn it, though, it's a backwards, thing because you're thinking that you're being right by being sweet, but you're not communicating in the right style. So, for example, to make it very clear, when a man is communicating with a woman, you do need to perceive some type of emotion. But men, we deal in facts. So it's, look, X, Y, Z happened, and this is either solution or we got a problem. That's it. So the man want to hear whatever the problem is so he can solve it. But a woman would like to hear, a woman would like to be heard first, right? And then convey what it is that she is feeling. Then that is the conversation in itself. It doesn't have to be a if-then statement, but most men want it to be, okay, well, what's our solution for it? And that's where we lose a little bit of it because the women is like, well, I ain't really talk to you to look for a solution. I need you to see how I'm feeling and either let me know if I'm acting crazy or not. It's that.
Big facts.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Just speaking on communication right now is like, I know I don't have it down packed. You know what I'm saying? I do my best, but I don't have it down packed. And sometimes it takes you to sit down and actually listen to the person.
Yeah, for sure.
Active listening.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, but and that's another thing too. And another key thing is to actually learn your partner or whoever you really are feeling. Like love language helps the communication a lot because nonverbal communication is going to be immensely more important than the actual communication that you're having, like the dialogue. But your nonverbal communication only comes from a solid foundation of having communication. So it's kind of weird because you can convey nonverbal communication, facial expressions, how you are, touch and feel and all that other kind of stuff. But, if you ain't saying the right things, then that just goes out the window. And if you're not saying the right things but not acting the right way, also out the window.
Big facts.
It's a whole pot to it. You got to do the dance right.
I'm telling you, man, you can't just half-step it.
That's crazy, man.
What's up, man? What you got?
So I want to ask you this, man. Like, is it hope for relationships nowadays? Everybody just doing their own thing, bro.
Statistically, absolutely not. There is no hope for relationships. If you're looking if you're looking at the cold hard facts, we are in a decline. And the only way to change that is for everybody to change their narrative. And that's not the way it's looking. Everybody, we can even talk about it right now. Sexy Red just put out a X tape on Instagram to upgrade herself. So the narrative right now is you get more clout for exposing yourself and degrading yourself. So why, again, incentivized to do the wrong thing, to have bad behavior. So why would I choose to do the right thing when I can get paid millions of dollars doing the wrong thing?
Exactly.
So exactly that. Even we can even talk about Keke Palmer, because I'm gonna talk about celebrity situations.
Talk about it, man.
Keke Palmer, and I know everybody was out here seeing it, but when she went out to that Usher concert, she was out there wearing an outfit that wasn't the best for the image that she wanted to portray as a person in a relationship, doing a lot of provocative things with Usher, letting him rub up on her body any kind of way.
She's cutting up.
Knowing she had a man, so I'm trying to be proper because I really want to, say some colorful words, but, we here on the pod.
Yeah.
But she was acting like a straight B. And that's some behavior that a lot of men ain't going to tolerate. And she was just out here living her best life, which ain't no regard to me that I'm not mad at her. But I ain't gonna wife you doing some shit like that. So then when her boyfriend did speak up, now I think that a lot of people took it out of context because they said that, well, he should have done it, a little bit less verbally outwards. I think he took it the perfect right way. You want to know why? Because she chose to do that outside and out loud. So the action should have met the consequences. So she did it outside and out loud. He did it outside and out loud. Now, long story short, they did a whole little spat back and forth, but they back together now.
Damn.
So tell me that he made the wrong decision by doing it like that. Because he took his woman back. Obviously, I don't know what she did in her time frame outside of it, but I'm gonna say she didn't cheat. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what she was doing.
We don't know. We weren't there.
We wasn't there. I wasn't in the sheet, so none of that.
For
you know what I mean? But all of that to say, it makes it hard for people to want to be in significant relationships. But I do see beautiful relationships all the time. My sister just got married 2 months ago. It was an amazing time. I think that, not even I think, I know that this is a one and done thing. We already talked about it at the wedding. I see the fruits, so they work, but it does take not just the communication. It takes understanding. It takes
patience.
There you go. It takes that real connection.
Action.
You know what I'm saying? Because listen, ain't no soulmates, all of that shit is bullshit.
It's bullshit, man. All that fairy tale, that stuff is fake, man.
All of that one true love, you build a love with somebody.
Yeah, you go.
And then once you allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to build with somebody.
So let me ask you this, Juice.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the best way to get with somebody is to do the dowry situation? Like basically you have to I feel like that's the best way because sometimes dowry, basically. Say for instance you have a daughter, right?
It's almost buying into the family.
Exactly. So you have a daughter.
Explain it to me.
Exactly. You have a daughter, right, Manny, right? Mm-hmm. And you know this good dude, his family got a good family and all this stuff. And you basically this man is coming, he's gonna pay you to take care of your daughter. So you don't gotta take care of your daughter no more. That's his responsibility. And I feel like those are the best relationships because it's not built on love. Like we look at things as love, but it's a business. A relationship, marriage, all that stuff is a business. And that's why we fail so much because when the love is gone, it's like a chemical. When it's gone, what we do? We run to divorce. You know what I'm saying? A woman gonna divorce you real quick because she don't love you no more. I'm not happy. I'm not this. As soon as you start hearing them signs, you already know what's coming next. That divorce. So I feel like the best way to get in a relationship or to have a union that lasts forever, is to do the dowry situation, man. That's just how I look at it. That's just me. What you think about it, Juice?
So I'm gonna be real with y'all. So I got two standpoints on it, right? You can do one or two things. I think we should take this, and I heard this on the internet myself, so I'm not gonna say that this is an original me idea, but we should do a trial little situation. With the way society is now, everybody should be way less invested than they are. So do a trial marriage. None of this stuff is really tied together. You can do a two years plan or whatever, see how it works. If you're not really feeling it, you don't renew.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're really feeling it, you can pack in for another 10 years or something. You can level it out. But you got to do two first.
Do a trial run.
Yeah, you got to do the trial run first. And
if
okay, this is solid, then you just, keep it up.
Yeah.
But then there's the other thing I'm thinking, look, we need to revamp the whole notion of what it is union is. Now that is a little bit harder because how do you do that without, changing the established way that it is? Because, listen, we can go barbaric with it and say that, you let them do what they do, they let you do what you do, and there's no real ties. But at the end of the day, people want reassurance. They want that security.
Right.
So you can't just say we're gonna do anything with anybody. To that standpoint, I would say that one don't work, but that's the best way for nobody to really get hurt.
Right.
And that's why I say there's two different standpoints on it. Because a lot of people put this preconceived notion that the person that they love is going to be that same person forever. And you have to really change with them too. And that's why we have to really look at the person fully to understand what they're going to be like in 10 years or so. Not even just, you got to look at the family, because the family is going to tell you how they react to certain situations. You got to look at
how they communicate with their family.
Facts, man.
How they, what their relationship is with their mother, their father, their
everybody,
siblings.
grandma.
And if they got children before you, how they act with their children, how they treat their children. That shit is important.
I'm telling you.
And listen, I know everybody wants to have that feeling, but F the feelings and really figure out if they're giving you what you want.
Big facts.
If they're not doing all the things that you feel like, because a lot of people will try to get out of relationships and be like, oh, well, they didn't give me the bare minimum. That's bullshit, because the bare minimum was enough to get you in that relationship.
Big facts. Talk to them, Drew.
So what you really got to do is
real.
Let that emotion and stuff go, and then discern what it is that you really want and need in your life, and if they provide that. Now, if it's not 100%, that's okay. But if they're doing at least 80 to 75%, that's probably a keeper, because guess what? There's a sliding scale to all of this. They might start falling off, but you might start falling off to them. So you got to be able to be accountable to that shit yourself too. If you start falling off and they tell you that, be like, damn, okay, well maybe I can, buck up.
Shit back together.
Exactly.
For sure.
100%.
That was real, man. That was real, Juice. What you got, man?
Oh man, stay on the same topic. We could change it up.
I love this topic, bro. I could go on and on, but we switch it up if you want to.
Come on. So shoot me some more little relationship stuff. How many?
All right. What I do get. All right. How
you on fire? Let's go.
Yeah. How about this? Like, all right, when they say emotional intelligence, right? So
the EP.
They say emotional intelligence. Sometimes men, from what it seems like, sometimes we don't really catch on to how to tap into our emotions, right? Because we so used to just having shit bottled up, right? And then it seems to affect our relationships with the women that we're dealing with, right?
See, and that's what I was just saying with the type of communication, because I see men all the time communicate their feelings.
Facts, man.
But it's the type of communication that when you're talking to your brother that works, and we can kind of understand and be like, look, bro, you kind of got to either let that go, or you can do this, you can move this way. But when you're talking to that woman, you definitely got to let your emotions go. I don't know who told you got to come in there with emotions. If you're talking to a woman with emotions, they going to feel attacked 100%. If you are talking to a woman with your emotions, you are attacking her. And it's not to say that you are doing that out of spite or anything, but they don't perceive it the same way that we do. Right. What you got to do is come at a level head, let them know the situation and how that situation is making you feel. For example, right? She irritating you in the car, y'all driving, okay? But you're like, okay, well, look, honey, I know that you feeling how you're feeling, you want to point and all that, but you can't do that because it's dangerous for us in this car. Facts. And it's going to mess me up from being able to see and keeping us safe on this road. You know what I'm saying? You got to talk just like that.
In comparison to if you spaz out like, yo,
what the hell you doing?
Yeah, like instead tell her to be like, yo, you acting dumb as shit. You over here fucking acting crazy. You put your fucking hands in my eyeballs. I don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Can't do that. But
you know what's so crazy, Juice? You can still do that and it still don't work. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of women so damaged. A lot of women damaged, man. A lot of men damaged too. So that's why when we come together, two damaged people, it's not going to work. Even if you're undamaged and you try to get with a female that's damaged, it's still not going to work because she's not used to that, somebody being calm and talking to her in a nice way. She ain't used to it, bro.
I'm going to disagree with you, brother.
Talk to me.
Because we are all in a healing space. Everybody in this world has dealt with some type of trauma. We ain't nobody's a perfect being. Ain't nobody getting out this motherfucker clean at all.
Right.
But with that though, that's where it comes into the dating with intention, because once you know that communication and stuff is off, actions are off and stuff, you gotta make decisions to be like, is this really for me or not? And then if it's not, it's okay. You can go with love and be like, I appreciate the energy that we did have. I really did want more, but I see that it's not gonna happen right here. And I appreciate you for everything that you were for me. And I can't be mad at what it was, because a lot of people now be so resentful, but you got to take the ego out, because at the end of the day, it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? If y'all was going to come together, it was about y'all relationship, and that takes two people or whatever mix of people you putting together. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all have to agree upon wherever it's going. And if y'all not, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be madness. You know what I'm saying? Pure chaos. And for some people, chaos works. You know what I'm saying? But that's where it goes to that point where it's like, y'all got to kind of not have yourself too involved and let whatever happen be what happens.
Big facts.
Speaking on chaos, right? I be seeing this happening, right? Where two individuals, they together, they love the shit out of each other. They toxic as fuck. They're no good for each other, right? They're no good for each other. Like, the female can be a trigger to the dude, and the dude could treat the female a certain way, and instead of leaving him, she sticks with him, or just, they temporarily, and then like separate and then come back together. It's like a toxic love, and it just be like, that shit be like wild just to see.
I was just gonna say, in my professional opinion, I was about to say, most of the toxic relationships you'll see that they are a lot of micro breakups, because it really is it's really the chase. They are in love with the chase of one another. And that high that you get from emotions, because it's like, I get it, I lose it, I get it, I lose it. And it's always the stuff that you can't have that you want the most.
Big facts.
So it's that dopamine high, it's that hit that they get. I don't know the childhood you had, but it's like seeing that Transformers, that Optimus Prime joint in the store that your mama wasn't about to get you, but you wanted that motherfucker anyway, because he had the 50-piece joint and you could put them together, flip him ass, head inside out, get him a little trailer park joint, and he could fly now. You know what I'm saying? Man. It would be like that. It's the want of it. Damn, I just got to borrow gold, but now the gold gone.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? It's like gambling. Youngins love to gamble.
I do like the
for
gamble.
sure. You know what I'm saying? You just get
throw
a
them
high
dice.
off it, man.
Yeah,
you just get a
like,
high, bro. So, just let me ask you this: are you going to get married? Do you want to have kids?
Me, myself, personally, I would love to be married.
Right.
I don't have hope a lot for it, but I always am surprised with this world all the time. So I can't say that it ain't going to take me by surprise. And yeah, I know I do definitely want to have children. So I can't start the family though until I get that right person beside me. And I want to have a bunch of kids, but we got to hope that they can handle all of that, because it ain't gonna be a little bit.
So, it ain't gonna be a little.
It ain't gonna be.
You just said something though. Do you believe in the right person?
No, I don't believe in a right person. I believe in building up with the correct person.
Okay.
But I got to find somebody that's worth building with, because everybody is very fickle nowadays, and it's very short-minded, and you know what I'm saying. And I'll even say it for the pod, because I ain't.
It's the real, bro. It's the real.
I'm
man.
single. You know what I'm saying. I'm out here. But
holla at him, man. Holla at him, man.
Wait a minute though. I practice sperm retention. I ain't looking too hard. Don't be coming over here unless you about to help.
Correct, man.
You know what I'm saying. In the mission that I'm trying to succeed in right now, because it's not a lot of room for foolishness and shenanigans. I ain't taking nobody out on no dates that's wasting my time and money, and I ain't getting no results. Fuck no. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Heck no. Give it to.
Honestly, and if you going out with me, our first date will not be at no restaurant or nothing like that. You better hope y'all got some good walking shoes, because we'll be seeing either the stars
nice
or something.
If
we're gonna go somewhere nice and see an environment. We can do a winery or something, but don't expect me to be throwing no purchases up, because if you think I'm purchasing your love, then we have nothing to communicate with. And at the same time, I'm not saying I ain't got no money to spend on you, because sure enough, if you the right one, it's gonna run up for sure. I travel outside the country frequently. All right, and no holds bar on that. You know what I'm saying? That passport stamps be going.
Okay, all right.
You about to ask me about that? Go ahead.
What's your take on the passport, bro? And what's your favorite place to go to?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer it opposite. My favorite places to go to right now, I'm gonna tell y'all. Anybody in this world needs to take their ass to Africa. It is the most amazing place in the world to go to.
Yeah.
I spent 2 months in Africa, and I'm gonna tell y'all this whole story. It's very funny.
Yeah, talk
actually.
to him. Talk to him.
So
Tell the story.
this was 2009, y'all. It's a throwback, right? My mom kidnapped me though. This is how this happened.
Oh,
So I woke up one morning, probably 4 or 3 in the morning. Mom, hey yo, I need you to sign this. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
off the
This
tide
did it.
joint,
Yeah, this did it. You know what I mean? So 2 weeks go by. She's like, yeah, we going to Africa. In the morning, bags already packed. I'm like, what? So next thing I know, I'm on a flight. Now this is the worst flight. Never get on a 15-hour flight and you don't know who's beside you. Never do that. That's how I tell you this. Because I got on this 15-hour. This random man was up on there, and like he told me this whole story. He got flown out by a woman, right, in Japan. As soon as he told me like that, I was like, wait a minute, bro.
You on your way to Africa?
You don't even know her, bro. How we know she ain't about to harvest them organs? Sounds sketchy. But he was like, yeah, he was on the flight to go to Africa to tell his mother that he was going to Japan to meet this woman. I was like, well, wait a minute, bro. At least you telling your mother. So if you don't make it back,
Shit go left. She know you in
you know
Japan.
what I'm saying? Yeah, that was where it ended at. But you know, we got on there. He told me this whole story because he had met her on the internet. And this is the time when catfishing was prevalent. You know what I mean?
They had that TV show.
It's still coming out, man. That shit's still popular.
Get catfished every day.
Every
Man,
day.
on that motherfucking show. Are you serious? You a dude this whole time?
Yeah,
you
so-
gotta be stupid, bro, to be on catfish, bro.
So
facts.
homeboy going look. So homeboy get to nodding off on the joint. Why my man going? He put his whole head on my shoulder. All right, bro. Get up off.
Get your ass up.
Nah, he going. Oh, I'm sorry, right? But for the next 3 hours, on my shoulder, this man falls on my lap. This is a
Oh, man,
mess,
yeah,
bro. Yo, you gotta get up off me, bro. So I had to switch seats with my mother on the plane. It was a lot of craziness, but got over to Ghana. So I went to Ghana.
Madasi.
Yeah, got Accra. All the way up in Accra, man. I was in the mountains of Accra. Amazing place. My mom had me in a village out there, and it was a very, very rural experience. Because listen, y'all, listen. Africa got everything we got out here: electricity, internet, all of that. At the time, I was in the village. It's houses, not huts. Ain't no little straw, little tiki situations.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. But I'm gonna tell y'all the real story though, because
Talk to 'em. We
it
on the
is a
real.
different culture. You know what I'm saying. Get up over there. What you do got to do, ain't no running water like out here. When you in the mountains, you got to go down the mountain, get you a bucket, right? Go down that mountain earliest in the morning. I'm talking about before the sun rises. You fill up your bucket in a cavern little situation with water, and you got to walk that thing all the way back up, right? Boil out water for your bath. That's how you get a bath out there. Now, the place that I was at, now I'm not trying to, this is not all of Africa. So don't expect this everywhere. You don't bathe yourself, okay? You don't give yourself a bath. You can't do
What
that.
you mean?
So the culture out there, the women, they give you baths. The men, they bathe.
Whoa,
I gotta get to Africa.
what?
But right
Yeah.
now, Ghana.
They definitely
Gotta get a
do
ticket to
that.
Africa
Telling you,
next week. We go.
And that's culturally,
telling
and
That's
now
crazy.
you,
I'm
you
telling you.
don't expect you just to get the the young women out there. You might get an auntie or something like that. No grandmas is doing it now. but
Okay.
you
I'll
might get
take an auntie. You
You
know, I love
So
older
I
women.
take an auntie.
I love older women. I don't know what it is. Older women love me, man. I love y'all too. I'm telling you.
Hey, listen, I can't be mad at the man.
I love older women, bro. I
I'm
don't
about
know
to
what
say,
it is, bro.
something works. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you know what I'm saying?
For me,
What you say?
Cougars out there.
Huh?
What you like the young? What you say?
listen, women in general, I just think women in general love me, but I have had a special connection with the lesbian women, and we ain't gonna get too far into that.
We gonna keep it PG-13.
We
PG-13.
ain't gonna get too far into all of that.
for sure,
man.
for sure,
You know what I'm saying? But out in Africa, like I said, man, it was amazing. Like they had festivals, like they had a party literally 7 days straight. They did not go to sleep. I'm like, bro, falling asleep, I'm like, probably like I went to sleep probably like 2 in the morning. Wake up, it's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. They still drumming, dancing in the middle of the joint, living their most amazing life. But it was a great experience. I got to see the world in a different light, and then of course I was in the city too. So I was both in the rural, in the village and in the city. But it was an amazing time, man. I got my boy OB out there that I still got connections with.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people, I met through that, what I'm saying, that I still even talk to today. And it was very eye-opening. To be honest, just going there, the moment I stepped out that plane, my whole life felt different. You know what I'm saying? Air quality, everything is different. Everybody's happy over there. Like I said, culture is real different to the point where another grown man can hold another grown man's hand and it's not seen as gay. You know what I'm saying? They help you to cross the street and stuff like that. It was definitely a culture shock for me when I saw it and I had the experience.
Right.
But it was like, when in Rome, you got to be a little bit okay. And I wasn't saying I'm out here holding every man's hand, but when they had to take me places I didn't know, I had to let it go. You know what I'm saying? Granted, I was still in my teens at the time too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from traveling to Africa? Because, like you said, it's a different world over there. I can imagine.
First off, that all these things that we take for granted, all this easy access to like food, don't take it for granted, man. Listen, I had to cook, cure, and cook my own food out there. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely a different experience to that. And I'm talking chickens, from chickens all the way up to cows. I did chickens, goats, all of that. You had to hunt it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Skin it, cure it, and then cook it. And it's a very long learning process too. You know what I'm saying? And for some of y'all might pass out if you weak of mind. You believe me? them goats ain't no joke, man. Them goats is not no joke.
Big fact.
The goats.
Goats be acting crazy. They start kicking and they be jumping when you gotta do them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. So, what you got, money?
One more thing, but did you feel like living in Africa? Well, you said you was there for two months, right?
2 months.
All right, so being there for 2 months, did you feel a different kind of peace compared to living in America? Because in America, everything's going on fast. It's so much, man. I can imagine like over there, it's probably more.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. As soon as I stepped off that plane, you can feel. I don't even know how to put it in words, but just in your spirit, you feel like even more complete. People, it's no judgment over there like it is here. It's like not waiting for you to fuck up. It's how can I help? How can I be of assistance? It's real community over there. It's real love. I seen people give their last for real over there. It's not about the clothes off your back. People will literally build for you out there. You know what I'm saying? And they barely know you, but they think you got a dream and something that you believe in. They gonna back it up.
Big fact.
They gonna look out. And then even that, when they celebrate for real, man. Because I was waking up and like not ready for it, but I can't imagine no place else that's happier than a place that can literally party for a week straight and not go to sleep off.
Facts,
that.
man.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Lit.
I love it.
lit. And not even needing to drink or nothing. Even at the time, I was getting a little litty. I was like, shit, I need to drink out here. Y'all just doing this? Ain't nobody serving nothing, you know what I mean?
Naturally happy, man. Naturally at peace.
Naturally having a good time, man. It was an amazing time, man.
Big facts. So let's change lanes real quick, man. So let's talk about mental health, man.
Okay.
Mental health, especially in the black and brown communities, man. All of it, because everybody's going through something, whether you're rich or poor. And we seen that through the pandemic. We seen that, right?
The pandemic.
Yeah,
I like how you
said
said that. I ain't never heard that one.
We see that, right? So what is your take on mental health, man? Like why a lot of people are suffering, man? What is going on with that?
Well, first things first, I want to say this before we even get into this. If you are seeking anything, or if you feel like you need mental health, do not be afraid to go out and look for it. You are not considered crazy. You're not off your loop, off your rocker. Any negative connotations you might have in your own head about it, believe me, having somebody to talk to and hash out your emotions, your feelings, and all of that is to your betterment. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to help you to get over all that shit. And then guess what? If you do all of that and get it off your chest, all that bullshit that anybody else kind of come and tell you is exactly that, just bullshit. It's something you can just brush off because you'll know and be validated because you know that you've achieved and done the homework, man. So what I would say now, though, it is in the shitter because a lot of people are afraid, though. I see it all the time. People are afraid to come into my offices and, even speak because it's like, well, will I be considered, a loony? And there's also the fact that it's not enough of us.
Right.
It's not enough of us mental health advisors, not enough of mental health advocates out here. But honestly, if I was being real with you, I think that psychology should be taught as early as middle school or elementary school, so that way, instead of us, trying to put it off until we're grown and trying to and I get it because you don't want to attach labels. But one thing I will say that really helped me as a young child, and they talk about labels. They used to talk about something called the addictive personality, right? And I knew that I had a uncle who was, struggling with addiction, and I saw certain tendencies in myself. I think at the time I was just really addicted to chips, right? And I was like, bro, I gotta let this go. Yeah. But I just couldn't feel in my head like a life without chips. So I was like, bro, this is what they talking about, this addictive personality. So it made me accountable enough to know that I might be something that I had to struggle with. So I had to, that knowledge let me, tackle other situations. Listen, after the little DARE program, when people would start talking about drugs and stuff, look, bro, I'm gonna be easily susceptible, so I can't be fucking with that shit. So I had to let it go. But if you don't know that kind of stuff, to let it go, most of the people fall into it because they ain't got no knowledge. Okay, well, I just like the way this makes me feel, not knowing that it's like an addiction. That's something that you have to wane off of, especially now where a lot of the things that are considered addictions are really pushed on us. Gambling, right? They putting on commercials and it's becoming legal in more states and stuff like that. What's the joint with
DraftKings, FanDuel?
There you go. All of that kind of stuff.
Sportbook.
Masturbation. I really hate that one. You know what I'm saying? Dudes, stop doing it. If you're watching this, please stop. Only reason I say that because it makes you a better man. If you really want them women that you want, hold it up and they're going to start running. Believe me, because you're going to have a lot more oomph behind you. On top of that, when you doing all this masturbation, they pumping it and they're selling sex everywhere. Instagram, they on regular TV shows. So it's already oversaturated. So the more strength that you have to push back, the more strength that people gonna see in you. Right. You know what I'm saying? All these other kind of stuff, this fatty eating and stuff like that. They put all these addictive little flavors into it so that way you're gonna keep doing it. And it's just easy to fall back into that rut. And I know it's just sounding like he's just saying don't be addicted to shit that I know sounds good. Yeah. No, what I'm telling you is to take into account that shit might be good, but do it in moderation. All right, you ain't got to do it every day. Fact. You ain't even got to do it every week. You know what I'm saying? You might want to drink and stuff. Don't drink every day. Drink on the weekends. Moderation.
Facts.
Or maybe drink once a month, one weekend out the month.
For sure.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Even once a week might not be too good.
Yeah, it might not be sugar.
Once a week start turning to down to 3 days a week.
Yeah, don't be no belligerent drunk neither. Be out there calling exes and all of that. That's what
I'm telling you now, people do when they got that drink.
Crying and all of that.
You wake up like, what the hell I do, man? Why the hell I do this?
Busting windows out, all of that kind of stuff.
Man. For sure.
Yeah. So you what you just spoke on as far as like semen retention and not masturbating. What is where did you gain that knowledge from, or that made you want to practice that?
I'll be real with you. So after the whole journey of even starting into the podcast and stuff, like that was a whole self embetterment journey. So I was learning how to better myself, to be the best man I could be, because I was coming through a lot of little struggles myself, and of course I had my issues with the ladies there, and I'll even keep it a buck. I was in a 6-year relationship that was supposed to end in marriage that ended in myself almost losing my life. So instead of trying to be a negative standpoint in the game, I took it as a positive, and I was like, you can't just be bonding with everybody, you know what I mean? Because like I gave a lot in that relationship, and it was just me giving myself there was, what are you really doing it for? Because like you don't want to just be out here with any harlot, any skeezer, any 304, whatever they want to call them right nowadays. You know what I'm saying? These skeechies. So I had to take some restrictive standpoints on myself. Now, I'm not going to say like I've been perfect the whole time, especially after that breakup. I was out here, sliding through these streets. You know what I'm saying? I was gliding.
You was spinning the bench.
You know what I'm saying? When opportunity arose, I was knocking it down. You know what I mean? But it was also just not looking well for me, because it was just, I was seeing these very shortcoming relationships, and I'm very much for, if I'm going to give my energy to something, I want to be invested.
Right.
I don't want to be doing it
for
just for a little wham bam thank you man.
One night stands and all that. You want the long way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rock with you. You know what I'm saying? Just
exactly.
Can't give my energy to anybody. Yeah.
And then, but the issue is though, with that though, you got to date with that intention. If you don't know what you want and how you would like it, then you just out here dealing with people and kind of wasting their time. Because I definitely know what I want from a lady. And when I communicate that nowadays, you know, you get a lot of little hiccups, and I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad, because guess what? You ain't for me. You feel me? It's not
Big
hard.
facts. Big facts, brother.
Let me give a comment on
Go
that.
ahead,
Right?
go ahead, go ahead.
Me and Two-Tech was on the phone
Yeah,
earlier
get it in.
before we, you know, even met up here. Me and Two-Tech was on the phone, you know, was talking about relationship stuff and whatnot. And I was telling him something that my OG had taught me a while ago. Shout out to Champ. Champ told me, like, man, he said, sometimes you gonna catch some fishes, referring to the ladies, right?
Right.
He's like, not every fish is for you to keep. Sometimes you catch them and you throw them back. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to do nothing with them,
Facts.
right? You know what I'm saying? You might book her, get her number, might, you know, take her out, might crack the joint. But sometimes you just got to go ahead and let her go.
Big facts.
You know, that's the problem. Sometimes we want to attach
Keep
ourselves.
going, yeah.
And it's like, nah, like as soon as you start seeing like, oh, nah, that ain't for me, that
Let it go.
characteristic, you just go ahead and let it go.
LIG.
Throw her back, into the water. You hear me?
Big facts. No harm, no foul.
Listen, I'll even give the best example. I probably
They do that to us.
All
Yeah,
the time, brother. All the time. And we can't lose no sleep about it. You know what I'm saying? Keep it pushing.
Keep it peep, baby.
All the time.
Nah, listen, and I'm this is some gangster code for some of the younger men and
Spit.
some of these dudes that ain't had too many relationships. Now, I had this real. Now, I don't even say I had. I dealt with this real bad, and y'all, some of y'all will think like a 10. She was an athlete, all of this other kind of stuff. Did like consistent athletics for like year round. You know what I'm saying? Body was tight, all this other kind of stuff. You know, caramel skin, curly hair, all that other kind of stuff. Beautiful woman, but that's kind of all it was. We got with each other. You know, things got a little bit intimate. You know what I'm saying? But it was like good on paper. But I voiced what I needed as far as the relationship, and every time I turned around, it was never nothing reciprocated.
Big facts.
You know, so we would communicate, but it fizzled out real quick. And then they were asking me like, well, why we couldn't work out? You never tried. To me, you know, in my eyes, you didn't really try. You know,
That
real,
pretty
bro.
face was gonna take you a long
Yeah,
way.
Yeah, and
I ain't stupid. You know, I ain't green that I'm seasoned.
yeah, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. That's
Big
exactly
facts,
what that's what I told her. But you know what I'm
Real
saying?
talk, brother. Yeah.
But it's like this, like, because for men now, beauty is just a subset. You
That's
know,
all it is.
beauty comes and goes. And beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder. So what I might find beautiful, these two gentlemen might not even find the same. You know what I'm saying? Or they might find it like I'm doing too much calling her beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Or she, you know what I'm saying? She beyond
Two-Tech
that.
said I got a bad taste.
I mean, listen.
I'm fucking with it.
Hey, listen. You do you.
You do.
You funny as
At
hell.
one point, though, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought I had bad taste too, because I was when I was a big boy, I was like, look, whatever I can get is what I
I'm
can
talking
get.
confidence, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
We
He
being
said,
real though.
Whatever I can get,
We
is what I
being
can
real
get,
though,
you know what I
man.
mean?
So,
Hey, I
yeah.
remember we spoke on that too. That
Yeah.
you lost a lot of weight. Right?
Yeah, talk about that, man.
Hell
When did
yeah.
that journey start?
Okay, so that was another 2020 movement, but this was again before that breakup I was mentioning earlier. I had been planning actually to get right so I could get my tuxedo in. So when I was married, you know what I'm saying, I was looking fly. But honestly though, it shifted because I've been on several like working out journeys and stuff over my lifetime, where I made some progress. But when I got to 2020, I was like, I'm not playing no more games with myself because ain't nobody else gonna help me do shit
Big facts.
unless I'm putting my best foot forward and making it happen, right? You know what I'm saying? And then I'll even give this. I got a little nerd in me, but you know what I'm saying? You see it on any anime. If you want to be the badass motherfucker on campus or all of that shit, you gotta have a training arc. So I said, nigga, my training arc starts now. You know what I'm saying? I'm a train until I get right, like Goku did. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly how I'm gonna do it. But on top of that, the benefits that I've got while going through the whole journey has been even more amazing.
Big facts.
Because just like I said, like I had a different caliber of ladies that I had my taste for. And then once I started seeing that all these other ones were throwing their self at me, I definitely could discern that I don't need a lot of y'all because You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all gonna come and go as easy as you said. And now I did
you.
like that quote though, because I'm a fisherman myself, and all I do is catch and release because I'm actually allergic to seafood, so I can't even take no fish with me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta catch and release. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But it's definitely it's better to, because this is why dating is a very sticky situation, right? Because a lot of people who date without discernment, they go out there and then they do a lot of that damaging because they don't really know what they want, but they say that they want certain things.
Say it one more time, man. Say it one more time.
It's really hard because, you know, if you don't know what you want, you really are doing a lot more damage to people. And if you got to have, like, literally written down, it should be like a little table. And it shouldn't have to be that long. It shouldn't, between 4 to 7 things. That's it.
Big facts. Could you waste a lot of time, bro?
Yeah, you waste a lot of time asking for too much out of people. Nobody's perfect. You not perfect.
Facts.
If they asking you to be everything that they imagine, then tell them that you can't be all of that.
Big facts.
But whatever you can change, try your best to do that. That should be your first thought as well. You shouldn't just be like, hell no, I'm not going to be that person. If that's your attitude, that person should definitely stop dealing with your ass.
Big facts.
Yeah, I can change him or I can change her. No,
you can't change nobody.
Especially if they tell you they're not going to do it. Especially if they.
But then they got to tell you they're actually going to show you that they're not going to do it.
Nah,
you know
listen.
what?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So something I can say too, right? As far as like when it comes to dating and stuff, sometimes you won't know what you need until it's in your face, right? And I'm saying this because I recently experienced this where I'm sitting there having a conversation with a young woman, and I just be like, wow, like, you know, your whole the perspective that you coming from, or, you know, your outlook helped me out, right? And I say that to say, like, it's a learning process, but it's a learning process where sometimes you got to be able to try new things, or test run people. Where it's like you gotta like really pay attention to that stuff, that, you know, what a person contributes to your life, whether it's big or small.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know, like, I'm big on this, and I preach this all the time, where it's like you gotta add value to people's lives, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whatever it is, anything you gotta add value, you gotta contribute, and if they're not adding value to your life,
I'm telling you.
Away. They and I really don't like the cup reference, but it's definitely like draining you out of your waters and all of that kind of stuff. But I do recommend everybody do, instead of trying to become that cup or whatever basin, whatever thing that can fill up the water, be that water. Because guess what? If you are that water, whatever you do, you always are flowing. And guess what? If somebody else is as water like you, they're going to flow into you like the ocean. Those rivers and streams, guess where they go? Right back into the ocean. You know what I'm saying? So if you flow right, you're going to get right.
That's it. That's it, bro. And I want to say this too, man. Sometimes we got to stop looking at rejection as a bad thing. Rejection is a good thing. It's a blessing in disguise. Because sometimes, right, we'll want somebody so bad, then when we get them, right, they're not what we thought they would be. And that goes for man and female. You know what I'm saying, bro? And so sometimes we got to stop beating ourselves. Well, what did I do? Sometimes you can not do anything. You did everything perfect, but sometimes people are not ready for you, bro.
That's exactly
and you
it.
just gotta just take it for what it is, bro. Take it for what it is. Stop getting in your feelings. Stop saying, "Oh, why this girl don't like, bro? Why this dude? It's okay, bro, because there's a million people in this world, bro. This one female that you probably forget in the next 10 months. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just crazy. We stress too much about one female or one for the females, the young ladies, one guy. It's a million people in this world, man.
Yeah, and I don't want to stress it too much, because if you're looking for a session, you can kind of book one. I'm not available unless you're in the D.C. area.
Yeah, for sure.
But you should definitely get you some mental health. But that's definitely ego, though. That's ego, and you
narcissistic people, bro.
Well, narcissism is a different category.
A lot of women narcissistic.
A lot of women do have very much narcissistic tendencies. Not all women are narcissistic
not all.
by nature.
He said, I said what I said.
Yes, I did.
But they definitely.
You know I'm telling you.
I will say the modern ladies in America today, they come with a lot of narcissistic characteristics because they live in their echo chambers. And if you don't know what an echo chamber is, that's when you're talking to your friends and all that validate the same things that you're saying to them. And don't challenge what you're saying, and don't ask you, well, what about the opposite? You know what I mean? Because everything you do should have somebody that can test you, and you should be able to have a open conversation with them. That's why I don't like the cancel culture.
You know, and that's crazy. I was just having this conversation last night. Where the thing is, too many people validating each other instead of being, man, tell me about myself.
Yeah.
Please. Like, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. Some things I lack in, some things I'm not doing good at. Tell me. Right? And that's the problem. People don't want to be told about themselves.
Big facts.
Of course, it's the approach, too. I personally feel like I got to work on my approach when I'm telling somebody about themselves. Right, especially a family member, because you could hurt people, you could cut people, but at the same time, like, that's very important. It's very important for you to be okay with being told about yourself.
Of course,
taking constructive criticism, taking that, all right, look, I see this and I see that, and look at yourself and you're like, man, maybe I do got to work on that.
Facts.
You feel me? Instead of being on the defense all the time and not thinking that you're wrong. No, just you don't necessarily have to be wrong. You can sit there and just correct what you're not doing right.
Facts.
Yeah, man. And I would say that's adjusting, but you gotta adjust in everything. And what the funny thing is, as adaptable as people are, because everybody always, it is what it is and all that other kind of stuff. Just trying to say that they're gonna get through it. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what it is.
Right.
People hate change.
Facts.
People do not like change at all.
Totally.
But the best thing you can do in this world is get comfortable with change.
Facts.
Evolution.
And I'm going to throw it back. I'm going to make these dudes laugh real fast. Just like how we was sitting up in here earlier today trying to change up this roadcaster, trying to figure that thing out.
That
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Listen, we try to upgrade these boys, so if y'all loving them, I know, listen, I'm over here about to advertise for them.
Real.
Please, I don't know if they got in the description, hit they Cash App, Super Chats. They need some little help. We want to get them some new cameras. We want to upgrade the space. We want it to be good, y'all.
Get it.
So please, send some love to the real, y'all.
Yeah, big facts. I appreciate the love.
No problem. No problem.
Man.
I got it.
Juice, bro. We gonna bounce back, shape back 2 tap. But listen, listen, though. So listen, man. How do you maintain?
Dox me.
Oh, yeah, I got you. How do you maintain your mental health, Juice? Like, what do you do, man?
Well, I definitely have myself a mental health advisor already. So you definitely, as a therapist or anything like that, you definitely need your own therapist as well.
For sure.
As well as that, they definitely train us very well. So if you're ever going through anything, you gotta take your own days as well, because you cannot be supporting anybody else's mental health if yours is out of whack.
Big facts.
So I definitely am an advocate for that, because I don't keep myself in a headspace that would affect anybody else's. I try to be very objective and everything like that. But mainly, I keep zen. I do some gardening, I guess you could say. I feed my squirrels.
Right.
So
got squirrels.
yeah, I got some squirrels, man. My backyard.
I never heard nobody say that.
Squirrels.
Yeah.
Man, got a pet squirrel named Tim.
I keep some pets that I don't have to keep. They stay outside. I keep them outside.
Okay, I feel
Only
that.
issue I
like
got with my squirrels is they keep fucking on my chair in the back on my back porch, man. My one boy, he been watching me. I've been working out. He got buff, and he been fucking on the lady squirrels out there. And now he got them on
You gotta get
acorn.
his nut off, huh?
Yeah, and now he on acorn support now. I be watching him fighting them and all that.
The real.
He told you, acorn support.
I'm telling you, man.
Throw it back then, you know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, man.
Backyard war.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, so I'm, speaking on mental health, because I'm, aware that, like, I recently stopped therapy. I feel like I've been doing good, good enough to where I ended therapy and whatnot. So, what are some suggestions for a person, even if they don't have mental health help, like a therapist and stuff? What are some suggestions that you can give as far as them, just alone working on their mental health?
Well, there's definitely like the group sessions, but I definitely still recommend going to a therapist. But this is something that a lot of people don't try to tell you. You should go to the therapist with a goal. like whatever something issue you're trying to resolve. If you don't know the issues, if you have like a certain feeling that you got going on, you can address that, you know. But what you got to go in there is something that you want to address. And a lot of people just want to be able to talk and not understand what they're going through and just have somebody just tell them what it is they're going through. You need to know what it is that you want so that way they can tackle that. They can make a plan and you can work towards your, you know, your goals.
Right.
It's kind of hard though, I know, for people who've never, you know, spoken with a therapist and stuff like that. But you know, a lot of people know that they don't feel good about certain things, and you can be like, you know, how they feel in a relationship or how they're just, you know, motivated to get up every day, even in their motivation.
For example, I just want to give an example as far as a goal and whatnot. My goal with therapy was to basically like get reacclimated with society, because there was a lot of things that I was dealing with that I wasn't used to dealing with. And like, you know, it's just like it's like I stepped from one world to another world.
Right.
And there was a lot of things that I had to really get accustomed to work on, with having patience with, you know, family stuff, you know, work life stuff, and just things in society, period. You know, even the way that like the standards that are set for men out here and whatnot. It's just a lot of pressure. So I had to, you know, I was in therapy working on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Expressing how I felt or how I was perceiving things and getting a different perspective from it. And it really helped out a lot. And I'm grateful for it. So me personally, I would, you know, I would encourage people to, you know, seek mental health, you know, help. You don't have to feel like you crazy. Sometimes it's just the pressure of the world, man. Sometimes you feel like you got the world on your shoulders.
Facts.
And being able to talk to somebody that, you know, isn't your friend or isn't like a family member, sometimes you don't want to burden your friends and family with them. You know what I'm saying? That's why for me, like, a therapist was the best thing, because this is their job.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And they studied for this, and they like actually like very educated on these topics that you know, that you having with them, conversation with them about. And in comparison to like if me and Kyrie talking about something, I could be venting to him. But guess what? Kyrie got 1,000,001 things going on in his life too. You know what I'm saying? And I've realized that because I would sit there, instead of me talking to a therapist, at first I was like sitting there with like my cousin. I would talk to her all the time about my stuff, and I felt like I was burdening her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because she had been with me through that whole journey of me getting out of prison and, you know, getting reacclimated with society. But I was like, nah, like I'd rather talk to a therapist. And it helped a whole lot. So, I mean, you know, I encourage people to go ahead and seek therapy, man.
I was going to say, I'm glad that you touched on that, because it is very hard for a lot of people to discern whom it is appropriate to communicate with. And not to like knock anybody, it can be overwhelming for other people because they don't have to live in the experiences that you went through, and then, you know, living through it vicariously is another weight that they, you know, take on, and, you know, they have to see it through a different lens. And once they start seeing it through that lens, their whole worldview gets switched up. And just like we were saying, the change is a little hard for them. But I was going to say, especially for people getting out of prison or any type of jail, if you can't get a personal therapist, there are a lot of groups, I would say, with other people who are getting out. I would say go talk with them, but make sure it's run by somebody who is non-biased and professionally trained, not a group of just out of jail guys. Because you want somebody that's going to be a little bit unbiased. And you were saying something that's really good too. That's what I was saying. You can't expect your friends and stuff, because they aren't trained, and they can't take their own emotional standpoint out of it and then be there for you to get you to a point of place where you need to be an appropriate member of society, since that's what you were trying to say. Because it is a learning curve, I think, coming out of prison for any amount of time, even like if it's like 8 months, because the world does shift, laws change, everything changes around you. But we can't allow ourselves to be bogged down. No, I won't do nothing. I won't even try nothing unless you do go out and step out and see what we do have to offer. Now, there's other ways too. You can go do the online thing and do Zoom. So I'm mainly Zoom. So I see a lot of my clients via Zoom.
Yeah, that's how I used to see my therapist through Zoom.
For sure, man.
And then they even have the hands-on ones too that will come to the house. So if you need something a little bit more close to the person, they have that as well.
Facts. A lot of great information, man. A lot of great information. So if you're struggling with some type of mental health, man, go see a specialist, man. There's nothing wrong with going and seek help. We all need therapy. We all need it because we all struggling with some type of mental illness, man. Whether we know it or not, we might think we perfectly fine, but we all struggling with something. So don't be afraid to reach out for help, man. For real.
Definitely so.
Yes, sir. Feel like wrapping this up. So
let me ask you this. One more question I got for you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Juice, man. Juice. So, what are some of your goals for the Juice Squeeze podcast? Like, what do you see your podcast doing? What's the end goal?
Well, listen, I want to bring to reality the issues that we have as far as our relationships involving our ladies and our guys. I want us to be able to communicate in a level where we aren't at each other's throat, but it's going to take a minute. It's not going to start off like that.
Right.
And we have to be able and willing